Okay, so we're near the old, what's Hafen in English? Port, the old port. We found the other side of the building. You can tell that it's tilted. It doesn't, like it would normally be like this, but it's like this. Even inside you can see the walls are tilted. I don't understand how you live inside of this. The stuff is like on the window. How very, very weird. But that's, you can see it's, oh, sorry for the throwing the camera to the light like that. You can tell that it's tilted. It's the weirdest thing ever. Which is very nice. It's very pretty. It looks similar to the bridge we went across earlier, but it's not the same at all. Nice little eating area. Now you can see how tilted it is. This is exactly what I meant. I don't get it. But it's really cool. I mean, if people choose to live inside of a tilted building, by all means. A lot of, not back alleys, that sounds kind of dark. A lot of like back entrances to buildings and cafes and restaurants. It reminds me a lot of London. Like the little alleyways, I can only call them alleyways. That you kind of find everywhere, but this seems to be the only way to actually get back to the main street. But they don't feel dangerous or like something bad will happen. It's just more of a, this is kind of the way that you just have to walk in order to get back to the main street. Oh, that's very pretty. That's very, very nice. This is kind of, okay, this is exactly what I was expecting of the city. I was expecting kind of like an old and a new kind of vibe thrown together. That's one thing I was so confused earlier when we were at that part of the city where it was just brand new things. But once again, to be fair, the whole portion of the city was completely destroyed. It's kind of just to be expected. But they'd have to have so many new things. Definitely near a or the harbor of the city. It's very nice. Okay. I'm doing pretty well not tripping. I'm very proud of myself. Being able to cross the street and not trip over. Nice little bridge. I think I actually still have tons of battery, which is also very nice because I was yesterday the camera ended up dying because I didn't bring any extra batteries. Now I have the extra batteries and the camera's lasting for a very long time. I don't know what this is. Not the bridge, but like it's like a little building below it. This is Ruhrgold. I don't think it's a stadium. It doesn't look like a stadium. So we actually ended up walking near the city limits. So I'm gonna walk back into the city now. A lot of boats and stuff around here. You can even see like how it kind of transforms from the old architecture, all the boats, and it just becomes the skyscrapers further down. I should have paid attention where the hell I was walking. Holy crap. I got it. Oh boy. I wasn't even paying attention. I was totally gonna fall down there. Very cute, quiet area. Everywhere we've been so far has been, I mean, here in this city, has been very quiet. Little side streets and stuff. Except for the few main streets that have all the cars on them. Everything else has been pretty quiet. There were a whole bunch of very pretty white buildings. You can see like straight ahead in this shot. It looked very historic that we walked by a little while ago. So many boats here, so many boats. A lot of times if you look for property online, especially in Amsterdam, especially in Paris as well, you'll see a huge amount of property like on the water. And at first glance, it seems like what you're looking at is like, you know, a flat that is next to the water, but you're actually looking at these homes that are for sale. And they can be pretty inexpensive. I think in a lot of port towns like this one, they kind of just stay put, even though you can kind of move the boat with you, of course. Usually just stay here. This is kind of where you live. A lot of them are very spacious. But in some cities you have to watch out because you will buy one and then every couple of weeks you actually have to move it. And I think that's one of the major issues that a lot of people end up having is you buy something, you think it can stay there, it can't. You have to move it all the time. But if you're constantly anchored and you get to live near the city center on a boat, I think a lot of people wouldn't mind that at all. Especially if you look at, I don't know why I'm trying to sell you all a boat, but you understand what I'm saying. Okay.
Boats are cool.
Yeah, they're very, very nice. I think it's not bad if they're always docked. Because if you have to, thank you again, I almost fell. Because if you have to constantly think about where am I going to move in the next 3 weeks, it's not too fun anymore. Another option, if you're looking to live on the water, is apparently this little house. It seems to be attached to the boat. There's also a second one over there. I wish I could actually get close enough to see inside of it, but you know, I don't want to be like hyper invasive, but certainly that. Is it a cafe? No.
One of them might be a show.
It says Wikkelboot. It doesn't say what it is, but there's so many chairs inside of it. It looks like a cafe setting or something like that. Still kind of nice. I mean, I don't know if it's for everyone. It's nice. Also this gigantic building on top of the other building. Walking back further into the city center, into a couple of different streets so that we don't exit the city anymore. Kind of weird if we just wound up somewhere else. I see a lot of the modern architecture taking hold again. It's also super windy, so if you can't hear me properly, oh, I want to walk down there. But I feel like that's just like the boats that people own. All the bikes outside. It's a very nice city. It feels very polished. I think I keep looking for not a grungy area, but like a really hipster area, and I really haven't seen one yet. Everything seems to just kind of be this kind of feeling. I'm not the only one taking photos of the old houses. So many boats together. I'm definitely going to fall over something. Everything is constantly in my way. The water's like green. We just stopped to get some food. It was definitely around that time. I think it's around 2 or 3 right now. Some Japanese curry. I've never had it before. Some meatballs, carrots, and sweet potatoes. I believe that is the one with chicken. Very excited to eat. It's made it to another tourist attraction, which is the Central Station. I mean, it's beautiful, but not the most exciting thing in the entire world. But when you looked around for like things to do in Rotterdam, that was one of them. So we're in like a super modern area, as is to be expected. Tons of really tall buildings everywhere around us. Now I think we're going to try and walk straight down this way, and we should get to the old town. At least that's what it's called on the map. Like I said, you know, it's cool architecture, but as far as like us going inside, I don't really think so. Just walking a little bit more now. We actually just went into an area. Yeah, we're gonna cross over this way. I actually just went to an area. It was very fascinating, and I think this is still like the runoff of it as well. It's like so like that's the central train station at the very end of the canal. But it's I can't explain it. It's like a very like a neighborhood that was definitely like you could tell that they were trying to like hyper gentrify it. I mean, just completely apparent. It was also like a very like Asian area. Like nearly every single restaurant there was something Asian, either Chinese or Vietnamese or Korean. But yeah, I was noting, at least to myself, how different it was going around one corner in the very center of the city, and the entire neighborhood really changed the entire kind of feeling of the area. And then you turn back around to this corner, you see buildings like this again. Very, very fascinating. And I wonder a lot of times in cities, the government knows that they're trying to gentrify everything, and they're trying to like basically kick a lot of these people out. So especially being in an area like this, I wonder how long they actually have in that neighborhood, if we can be completely honest. I think that's a gigantic braid in front of us. I don't know if I can zoom in enough. I'm pretty sure that is a gigantic braid. I know my walking is like making the camera jump around and stuff. Gotta watch my step once again. It's very nice. Yep, it's a gigantic braid. Wow, it's okay, it keeps going. There we go. No sign for it anywhere. A lot of little art sculptures everywhere around the city. So I think the idea is that we can take this all the way down to the very end.
Go to the left or the right side?
Yeah. I don't know if we can walk on that side. It seems like the tram side once again.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it looked like, at least. But once we get a bit further, I think that looks like the next block that the tram.
Also, there's bees in the
Yeah, little birds. I mean, the gigantic birds, actually. Seagulls here, gigantic. Things are huge. Another little statue. Very pretty buildings. And I think more of this will be there once we get to the lower part of the city. What is this? It's like a contraption. I don't know what any of this is supposed to be or what it's supposed to represent. It's just incredibly creepy. Okay, sure. Why not? I would interpret that as something to do with the war. A lot of the city seems to have been shaped by it and then reshaped by it. So like a lot of the architecture is kind of brutal in nature and like has sharp edges. And I think even the one in front of us, it looks like a statue with no arms and no head. So, just thinking inside the box. It's probably exactly what it's supposed to be. Very dramatic. Just one block over, found a little cute area. Looks like there's tons of cafes and stuff. And then there's also a gigantic gnome. It looks like he's holding a Christmas tree? Yeah, he's holding a Christmas tree. And also there's like a gigantic bell as well, so I don't know what it means, but it's here. I wonder why the city has so many statues. Of course, every city has their little statues and stuff laying around, but this one seems to have them every couple of meters apart. Of course, they all represent something. It's just a matter of what. Ooh, cheese house. There was a place in Amsterdam that we used to go to, and they had like green cheeses and like actual blue cheeses, not like the moldy blue cheese, but like it was literally blue. Quite delicious as well. It's just like a very okay. There's that symbol again, so it has to be something. Is it ice cream? I'm gonna say it's ice cream. I feel like asking someone to figure out exactly what it could be. It doesn't seem random at all that they would have that. And once again, I think we've gotten to the point where the battery on this is going to die. So if it does, I have to swap out the battery. But for now, I'll just keep recording all the stuff happening in the city. It's like a very popular area. All right, the battery definitely did die. We are walking back towards the water now. Absolutely exhausted, and I mean like completely tired. It's been like 5 hours of walking. I think we sat down once to get something to eat, but we walked all the way to what was basically the city limit or the end of the city, and then looped back around. We were walking through all these different, all the construction happening, looping through all the little markets and stuff like that. But it's definitely time to go and sit down. We may find something near the water to go sit down and relax a little bit. At some point, might go back to the ship. Still haven't decided if we're going to have food on the ship or somewhere around the city. We actually walked into a Wagamama. I don't know if any of you know what Wagamama is. I love that place. I used to go there all the time when I lived in Scotland. So to find one here is kind of not... Okay, I was going to say the word nostalgic, but that was a loud car. Yeah, I think we're just getting to the harbor right now. You can kind of tell this is such a... I mean, you guys weren't there, but the last little neighborhood we were in wasn't the nicest. It's not some place I would walk through myself at nighttime. So it's nice to be back in a cute little area again. It's a lot more relaxed around here. Alrighty, finally heading back to the ship. There's you can see another angle of it, of the bridge that we crossed over at the very beginning. And there's the ship right there. Super lucky. Because every other time we've been so far away from the actual ports, but to be directly next to the city is super cool. Also some really cool buildings here. I was talking about, or thinking about how much they might actually cost, because you know they're not cheap, especially not around this area. Well, this has been a great trip. We might come back out of the ship at some point, just because we're going to be here overnight. This is the only port that we're staying for 2 days. So we might come out for dinner, or we might just actually stay inside. I'm so tired. It's been so much walking, so many steps every single day. We don't normally even take the elevator inside the cruise, even though it has like 17 floors. We like walking a lot of times, so even if we're going from the 3rd floor to the 10th, we still walk up it and walk back down, and our bodies are kind of at the limit, especially when we're at home. We're not normally walking 20,000 something steps per day. So, alrighty, yeah. See if I make another video after this one. If not, I do hope you enjoy. But I have a feeling I'll be recording something else because there's always something to record.